Hello, this is Lady Boulay, and I hope you're having a lovely day. Thank you for your support. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. Thank you for your thumbs up, for your comments, and thank you for sharing the videos. Thank you for all you do to support the channel. Well, I just want to say hey to the First Lady of the United States, Jill Biden, for pretending not to know White House protocol and pretending not to know who comes to the White House when a national championship has been won, regardless to who wins it. This is the White House of the United States of America. The White House is America's house, and that includes Black Americans, those very same Black Americans whose ancestors built the White House in the first place. So we can just add this lesson onto the lesson that she's having to learn about who gets to come to the White House when somebody wins a national championship, whether you like the race of the people or not, and whether you feel sorry for the people who lost and you want to make them feel confident and to feel better, because after all, those Black girls should not have won. You should have won. I really wanted you to win. So I'm going to break protocol and invite you, because after all, your little egos are so fragile that if you get beat by a team of Black girls, you're going to be shattered. And we can't have that. We can't ever have you feel that those Black girls are better than you. So, okay, Miss Jill Biden, we see you. And I also want to thank her for reminding us of why Black American children feel so devalued in America's public schools. Even when they perform at their very best, somehow a person like her finds a way to make it about the white people. I see white people keep saying on social media, it shouldn't be about race. It's a basketball game. It's a competition. It shouldn't be about race. We can't get rid of race in America. Everything is about race. But when you are a person at the top, you should do everything you can to present America at its best, not show everybody how divisive you can be. And I want to give a real shout out to the women's basketball coach at Iowa for putting the thing in perspective the way it should be, because Jill Biden made a very unwise move. She made it clear that she wanted Iowa to win. Okay, fine. They didn't win. So you don't then come in and let them fudge in on LSU's victory because you feel bad because they lost. Hey, Jill Biden, we see you. Now, I'm not going to go into a diatribe about Jill Biden being a racist or a bigot or anything like that, because we already ought to know at this late date in America what time it is. I can say with some degree of certainty that in the South, Black people and white people who have been around each other from the beginning would get along much better. And I'm just talking about common, everyday people. Most of us could get along much better if it weren't for these politicians and these preachers. Even when people are trying to get along, when they're trying to do the best they can, somebody will come up with some kind of divisive law or do something low down, and it throws us right back where we were in our divided camps. And these preachers, and I'm not talking about Black preachers this time, they preach as much bigotry as anybody. And these politicians have learned as long as you keep people divided, especially Black people and white people, they can get elected to office. It is a strategy that has been working since the inception of this country. People assume that all of the bigots and racists live in the South. They're all Southerners. Jill Biden is not a Southerner. She was born in New Jersey and was raised between New Jersey and a suburb of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. That is not the South. My point being that bigots are everywhere. You cannot get away from them. But this is an example of how the bigotry keeps getting reintroduced in American society. It's coming from the top. And it doesn't matter if you vote for Joe Biden. It doesn't matter if you vote for Donald Trump. It doesn't matter if you vote for George Bush III when he comes on the scene. It doesn't matter. They're all a part of the same system. When Joe Biden first ran for president in the 1980s, this came out about him, that he had lived in a Delaware house in the 70s with a restrictive deed banning Black people from owning that home. The covenant bar this home from being owned or occupied by any Negro. So they couldn't rent the house and they couldn't own the house. They couldn't live in the house. Now that's very racist. If you're not living in the house and you're going to rent it out or sell it, but you can't rent it or sell it to somebody just because they're black. Joe Biden lived in this house from 1971 to 1974. But in 1986, when he was getting ready to run for president, he disavowed the racist restriction on the home that was purchased by his father. So this is the kind of person that raised him. Joe Biden was best friends with Strom Thurmond, one of the biggest racists that has come through American politics. He did the eulogy at Strom Thurmond's funeral, and you don't get closer than that. So nobody should be in the dark about these people. It's just who can give us the best deal. The bigotry in America begins at the top and it trickles down into all of American societies. And that was just on display with Jill Biden in a way that she probably didn't even realize. I'm going to go out on a limb and say she didn't see anything wrong with what she did. She didn't see anything wrong with her inviting the University of Iowa's basketball team to the White House, even though they lost that championship game. One of LSU's players asked a very profound question. Would we have been invited if we had lost? And I think we all know the answer to that. So I just don't know what to call it except bigotry. This is a part of the white fragility. They cannot stand the idea that they are not the superior beings that they have been told that they are. And so that is why you get the First Lady of the United States of America crossing all lines and breaking the protocol to uphold white supremacy. Because that's what she's doing now. You can call it what you want to, but that's what she was doing. Upholding white supremacy. Trying to make these white girls look and feel like you're on the same level as those champions. So we're just going to have you there too. Now we, black people, should be past the point of being hurt or upset by things like this. Because we know how these people get down. But what we do is push back. That's what we can do, and that's what we should do. I'm going to end by sharing excerpts from an article that I read from Irish Star. The headline reads, Iowa head coach snubs Jill Biden invite with brutal message to First Lady and President. So they're checking the First Lady and the President on lack of protocol. Iowa head coach Lisa Bluter thanked First Lady Jill Biden for the invitation, but insisted the national champion LSU Tigers should be the only team going to the White House. On Monday, Biden said she hoped to invite both LSU and the Iowa Hawkeyes to the White House after the Tigers clinched the NCAA tournament title with a 102-85 win. Biden, who was in attendance at the American Airlines Center in Dallas to watch the clash, congratulated both teams on their performance in Sunday's national championship game, while she specifically highlighted Iowa's sportsmanship. The First Lady, Jill Biden, said, I know we'll have the champions come to the White House. We always do. So we hope LSU will come. Now she hopes LSU will come. But you know, I'm going to tell Joe I think Iowa should come too because they played such a good game. Well, who played the best game were the ones that won. So somebody needs to pass that on to her, Dr. Jill Biden. It is not tradition for the losing team of a championship to get invited to the White House. But Biden pointed out to the evolution of women's sports since Title IX was implemented in 1972 as a reason to celebrate the event. However, Bluter, who is Iowa's women's coach, decided she is not going to take her Hawkeyes to Washington, and she said, I gratefully acknowledge the First Lady's sentiments, but a day at the White House should belong solely to the champion, LSU, and Coach Mulkey. We would welcome the First Lady and President to come to Iowa's house, Carver Hawkeye Arena, anytime. So this coach from Iowa had to show Jill Biden what class looks like. These people cannot really recruit black players because black kids don't want to go to Iowa. They have other options, better options. They don't want to go out there. It's cold. The University of Iowa is in Iowa City with a population of 78% white and about 8.9% black, less than 10%. And somebody just wrote in my comment section that she lives in Iowa and it's very racist out there. So they can't even recruit. Black girls in particular don't like to go out there because they say they can't get anybody to do their hair. And then they can't find foods that they like or churches that they want to go to. They have a hard time recruiting in these states that are considered racist. So this coach, I think, is, making a good move. I think this was an effort at saying, we're not so bad out here. Now, I know there's a community of black people in Iowa because I know people who have family members that live out there, but I don't know where they are. I don't know how spread out it is. I don't know how hard it would be to find a church or a restaurant that you wanted to go to or somebody to do your hair. I just know that it's hard for them to recruit top-level black athletes. So to a certain extent, Jill Biden ruined this victory for the LSU Lady Tigers. Through her press secretary, she tried to clean it up by saying that she looks forward to celebrating the LSU Tigers on their championship win at the White House. Yes, after she ruined it for them. And that's, that's shameful on her part. Some of the players are saying that they're not going because they're hurt. They're hurt by that. And it's understandable, but they deserve that visit to the White House. That's America's house, not Jill Biden's house. And 10, 20, 30 years down the road, they might regret not going if they don't go. So I say go. And it's shame on Jill Biden for stepping on their victory and for stepping on their feelings and for stepping on the excellence that they exhibited in that championship game. Okay, Jill Biden, we see you. Bye. I have to do an update on this video because I found out, and I'm not sure this is factual, but it's been reported that before the game, Jill Biden went to each dressing room and wanted to give each team a pep talk, and that the LSU girls did not want her to give them a pep talk. Now, I think that should have been the coach's decision, but the coach may have been operating from the idea that these girls have gotten this far with the attitude that they have, and so I'm going to go with it. But anyway, they turned down the First Lady's request to give them a pep talk. And the Iowa girls got the pep talk. So Jill Biden could be feeling kind of salty because of that, because it was sort of a rejection. But still, she's the First Lady of the United States. And as Michelle Obama always says, when they go low, we go high. So she should have taken a high road on that one, I think. I'm not going to try to get inside anybody's head to try to figure out why they turned down the First Lady's offer for a pep talk. But that is something that I think should have stayed within the confines of that team. Everybody didn't need to know that. But Angel Reese, the one that most of this controversy is centered around, continues to go on different platforms giving interviews. I think if I was her coach, her mother, or her grandmother, I would tell her to stop talking. Because she's 20 years old. That's too young to be burning bridges and making enemies of people in high places. And Jill Biden is in a high place. So I would simply tell her to stop talking. At all times, she should be using good manners. Now, I know for some of us, we say, well, oh no, she should have said this and she shouldn't have said that. But I've been around the block a couple of times, and I know how life can turn on you. So it's better to get the goodwill of another person than the bad will, because it can come back on you in ways that you don't think. And then the very people who've been egging you on to go, no, go on, tell off, don't do this, don't do that. Those would be the people that would be standing back saying, well, she shouldn't have done it. So I think that she needs to stop talking, stop giving interviews, stop talking about it, and let it play out. If they don't want to go to the White House, don't go. But my advice to her would be to stop talking. Not because I'm being a Sambo or an Uncle Tom or a coon, but because it's just good manners, and it's also good politics. Now y'all let me know what you think about this. You can ruin yourself just by running your mouth, and I think we all know that. But let me know what you think. Let me know. Thank you for listening. Subscribe to the channel. Give me a thumbs up. Leave a comment. Share the video. And as always, have a great day.